Thank you for inviting me to share a few thoughts with you today on racial equity and the digital divide. Someone once said that you can measure the quality of society by the way it treats those who are most disadvantaged. I would add that this also applies to companies and individuals. As we've experienced over the last few months, our society, our companies, and each of us need to do better. The brutal deaths of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor showed us how systemic racism continues to erode our society, and the civil unrest that followed made us see how deeply divided our nation is, maybe more divided than it's ever been. But these tragic events also showed us something else. They remind us that we all have a responsibility to step up and make a difference, and to speak out for those whose voices are not heard. It's time for us to move beyond do no harm to taking responsibility for fixing what's wrong. And if those of us in the position to bring about real change don't, then who will? As business leaders, we have a responsibility and an opportunity to drive the change our communities and our nation so desperately needs. Our accountability goes well beyond our commitment to our customers and our investors. We have a broader responsibility to society that includes ensuring that everyone has an opportunity to participate in the workplace, in the educational process, and in our economy, and especially those who have been historically left out. It's our communities, it's our companies, it's our responsibility to solve our problems. As most of you know, I wasn't raised in Cleveland. I didn't grow up a Browns or a Cavs fan, but I've lived here for 20 years and it's become my home. In Northeast Ohio, the problems that ail our nation are generally even worse in our community. I'm tired of seeing our community at the bottom of every list. Last month, we made another bottom. The worst connected big city in the US. The prior survey had us in the bottom 10%, so it's a problem that's been around for a while. We haven't done enough to fix this problem. I haven't done enough to fix this problem. Like all of you, I'm not comfortable being in the bottom 10%. And I'm certainly not comfortable being last. So I'm asking that you take it personally, as a reflection not just of the city and the region that we call home, but as a reflection of all of us, the leaders in this community. Today, Bill Lacey and I appreciate the opportunity to update you on the work we're doing with Fred Nance to respond to one of the important issues affecting many in our community, the digital divide. Like many other leaders in Cleveland and across the nation, the events of this year inspired us to come together to drive change. For as long as I can remember, there's always been talk about fighting racial inequity, but not a lot of action. Let's leverage this moment to change that. Let's take the opportunity to turn words into actions, to do something that addresses racial inequity in a creative way, something that goes beyond inclusion and diversity efforts in our own organizations, and something that's tangible, measurable, and focused. Something that has a lasting impact on people's lives. We believe closing the digital divide in Cleveland is one way to do just that. You have my word that Bill, Fred, and I, and the companies we lead will be accountable for getting this done. And we'll continue to do all we can to ensure the events of 2020 are a catalyst for meaningful change, not only in Cleveland, but across our nation.
A few short months ago, the senseless killings of George Floyd and other young black people hit me and the rest of our country incredibly hard. Instead of hopelessness or anger, it reaffirmed my commitment to make real and lasting change. And I am proud to partner with others who feel the same. Together, Craig Arnold, Fred Nance, and I felt compelled to make a meaningful and measurable impact on systemic racism. We chose to focus on digital inclusion. The internet enables homeschooling, work from home, job searches, and access to critical e-health services. Yet nearly 1 in 4 households in Cuyahoga County lack internet access of any kind. Worse yet, this digital divide has a disproportionate impact on the welfare of the black community and worsens already existing inequalities. Closing the digital divide is a step towards narrowing the racial divide. Great efforts had already been made by local nonprofits, Cuyahoga County, and the Cleveland Mayor's Office. But we knew that mobilizing the business community would provide some much needed relief. When we approached Joe and the GCP board about closing the digital divide, it was met with overwhelming approval and support. Together, we began an effort to accomplish two things. First, start to get computers into the hands of low-income families. And second, find a way to make affordable, high-speed internet access available to everyone. The response from outreach to our business community has been amazing. As of today, more than 24 local corporations and organizations, big and small, have committed to donating their used computers to PCs for People. This will result in tens of thousands of computers getting into the hands of the children and families that need them most. More computers are needed, so please look up PCs for People to see the great work they do to sanitize data so you can donate safely, then refurbish and distribute computers. If you can, please commit to a partnership with them. Solving the internet access problem is complex and will take more time. Today, in addition to internet service providers, we're working with several nonprofits, government, and other organizations to drive progress. We implore you to join us. One thing has become clear in the recent months. We are at an inflection point. It is up to all of us to make real change. As business leaders, we must do the right thing and stand strong in the face of inequity. We can do better, and we must do more.